Hey guys, I'm still in this cave. The fire's still going. And I figured I would do part 2 for my poetry because I wanted to finish what I have written so far for you guys. Um, so all the text for these, if you can't understand me very well, will be in the description. So if you want to share it or something, you can use that. You don't necessarily have to share the whole video if you just like one of the poems and you think the rest are shit. So this first one is called Captive. And I wrote this kind of about school and how I kind of felt confined and I didn't really enjoy it very much. Sleep is the only rest I get from this endless hell I call the pit. They say be content with where you are. How will that get me very far? I remember the field in which I ran and how the sun baked into a glorious tan. But now captivity is all I see, and the warden he holds the key. Hallways of gloom, dungeons of doom, this place has become my tomb. The walls stand by and they mock me. In these social chains they do lock me. Will I ever be free? So that was just, I was never happy with school. I didn't feel like I learned anything of importance. I didn't feel like I really learned anything at all. And I was frustrated about how much time I was wasting and how all these people who had different desires, different plans for the future, were all confined to this one building, which didn't allow them to really expand their horizons at all. And it was kind of like a prison sentence because you had to be there for 4 years, and there was very limited options for how you could shorten that time. My next poem, it's called Pursuit of Fame, and it's about a plane and somebody's last thoughts before they die in a plane crash. I've said all that needs to be said, and now I will be dead. My opinions have all been heard, and right now, like a bird, I fly. It is this flight that led to the plight which causes me now to die. The chance to say more I shun, and now that life is done, to heaven I will fly, or in the earth I will lie. Why do these simpletons fret and work up into a sweat over a life that they never lived and moments that they never cherished? The world will never remember the fact that they ever perished. This is not the worst, although it is the fact that those below will not only forget the last-minute strife, but also the whole of everyone's life. There is a small boy who looks to the sky and sees a bright light not very high. He thinks that the plane above is a shooting star and makes a wish from afar. He wished and prayed just to be remembered, but his fate was like those who are now in the ember. He and them were one and the same, all lost in their pursuit of fame. So here I kind of talk about the futility of life and how people just want to be remembered and they're scared of death. But this person in the poem, he accepts his fate, unlike the people around him. And I think that this is a good perspective on life. You can't expect your memory to live on. So that's that. This next poem is The Nature in Me. I wrote this at a time when I was kind of frustrated. I felt like, this was when I was going through some changes. And so I felt kind of sexually confined. I couldn't see why I couldn't have any meaningful relationships in that way until I was of a much older age. I felt like I always had to restrict my thoughts. I was strictly controlled in what I could say, what I couldn't say, where I could go. And nature, it kind of comforted me. I've always liked nature. I've always liked hiking. And on one of the hikes that I went on, there was somebody, or it wasn't somebody, it was everybody. There was a concrete path and everybody was following it, and it was to this giant beautiful waterfall. And I just thought to myself, why can't we experience nature the way our ancestors did, in the most meaningful way possible? And that's kind of to immerse ourselves in the waterfall, to go in the forest, to break off of the trail. And so I kind of wrote about that here. Kept away from the nature in me, kept away from the nature I see, staying behind the strong wooden fence, all of this danger keeping me tense. It is not my fault, but theirs I now see. They are the ones trapping those once free, withholding emotion, causing commotion, abstaining from natural relations is the cause of my frustration. It is not me, but society, that is withholding all the dreams of things I can be. They say it's a danger, but contrast should not become a stranger. This is what life should be lived for. If this is all I get, I can hardly want more. The warm sun-baked rock after a dip in the mountain river, comforting me and ending my shiver. The balance of work and the wants of pleasure cause a bounty that is beyond measure. The hot cocoa on a cool autumn night, the feeling of safety and that of playful fright. The joys of loved ones and desire of solitude no longer need to be in a constant feud. When tradition does not allow for contradiction, there is but one decision. Come with me now and you will see how truly great we in nature can be. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. This next one I just wrote. It's pretty short. I just started doing poetry again. I probably had a couple months there where I stopped making anything. And then I re-experienced the joy that I get from poetry, and it kind of helps me to express my emotions a little bit more in an artistic way, because that can sometimes be challenging. Winter has beaten the color from life. The dead rustling leaves and the old skeleton trees join in the chorus of death. The wolf and the fox turn brown just to harmonize with the solemn song. Then comes an out-of-tune chirp. A bright crimson bird appears and ruins the corporate melody. Nature attempts to swallow this unwanted distraction. As I walk down the hallways, the bland and boring make me want to conform. I cannot, however, without losing an innate part of myself. The hunters come for the easy target. They will succeed in the end, I am afraid. Is it any wonder we choose to fly away? That's just kind of talking about the conformity of the high school life right now, and how it's sometimes hard to stay true to oneself and to do what's right, and even sometimes when it's hard. So I hope you guys enjoyed this second poetry reading. I think I'll be leaving my cave soon. I need to get home to get some dinner. Probably should have brought some and just roasted it over the fire, but that's alright. So I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you have a great week. Message me if you have any questions or any stories or anything that you're struggling through. I can try to help as much as possible, although nothing's a guarantee. So see you later.